President Trump's economic formula does work. It is working. It worked in his first term. Look at what he's done thus far. It's a proven economic formula. We're going to continue to slash regulations to bring down prices that were caused by the Democrat Party.
I have a couple clips of Karoline Leavitt on Sean Hannity in an absolute cope fest after the embarrassment that Donald Trump suffered at the hands of Zohran Mamdani in their first meeting. So leave us a like on the video if you can. Helps us out a ton. We want to get to 30,000 subscribers, and let's jump right in with all the fact checks necessary.
President Trump's economic formula does work. It is working. It worked in his first term. And who knows, maybe Mayor Mamdani will go back to New York and maybe he learned a few things from President Trump today.
You may be more hopeful than me on that.
Trump capitulated on every single point. He backpedaled every single claim he ever made about this man, showed he doesn't probably mean anything he ever says, acted buddy-buddy with the man MAGA was verbatim saying would cause another 9/11 if elected, would ruin New York City. He said that he would like living under Mamdani in New York City, but you know, apparently to MAGA it's a radical jihadist, etc. What is there to learn from this? How to not have a spine? Sorry, us progressives like our politicians with a backbone. Mike Johnson does well in MAGA, he wouldn't do well over here. I think you can just see how from MAGA messaging, it's them who's learning from Zohran as they're trying to work in affordability talks and otherwise, because that's been leading Democrats to victories across the nation. Katie Wilson in Seattle, the lady in Atlanta, I forget her name, and Zohran. The problem is, they've exhausted their capital, MAGA has. Nobody believes that they're for the working class, so these lines aren't going to work for them the way that they have for the Zohrans, but you gotta try something, right?
We're going to continue to slash regulations to bring down prices that were caused by the Democrat Party. We're going to continue to drill, baby, drill, unleash America's energy independence. And of course, we are going to continue to mass deport illegal criminals from our communities. And ICE will continue to operate in New York City.
Yeah, so quickly, historically speaking, Republicans have always been worse on inflation. So the idea it's conservative policy that is the solution to prices. Fantasy. Trump himself is seeing increases across the board from toys to grocery. Biden, the inflation was global. We've talked about this. He steered us out of that with the fastest recovery. MAGA will never give him credit for that. Again, but under what they're saying, Trump backpedaled on his ICE threats, right? If you want to add that he'll blatantly lie to someone's face just because and then go right back on his word, as I think he achieved, I guess be my guess, but like Trump can go ahead and try his intimidation tactics if he really wants to. They're clearly not helping him, his party, his own popularity. But I mean, authoritarians are going to do what authoritarians will do.
And if you look at what President Trump has already done with respect to the economy, there was a lot of talk on the issue of cost of living because it continues to be a concern for voters. And President Trump is very well aware of that. But look at what he's done thus far. It's a proven economic formula that is working when you combine a massive deregulation campaign to get the government out of the way of small business and American industry. When you look at what he's done with respect to energy independence, to unleash America's resources right here at home to drive down oil prices, which we've already seen result in a 20% decrease in oil prices. We have
you know, that's funny because they're also saying the government shutdown hurt the economy. So which one is it, right? Because if getting the government out of the way helps the economy, then we should be seeing economic booms during shutdowns, not drops, because you're getting the entirety of the government out of the way. It's almost like there's actually no data or correlation to what they're saying. The government is just the boogeyman that rich people want you to hate so they can privatize in its place because it gives them a lot more profit. Trump is failing the American people. Like, we should state that as clearly and as often as we can. Most people understand this. It's why his party got swept in these off-year elections. It's leading them scrambling in hopes to cheat, to not get swept again in the midterms. And even more importantly, American families are feeling it. Like, outside of the politics of it all, there's actual economic strain from these policies right as the holidays are setting in. It's a genuine disaster for everyone.